Make sure you fill out the front row, remove your soft covers, and if you're wearing eyewear, do those three also.
Come on.
Ace interact. Use the window keys to Ace interact and highlight sit down. That's there you go.
Sergeant.
I don't know if that fix is working anymore, Sergeant.
Probably not. It's not even.
Oh, well. Just gotta deal with it.
Alright, you wanna start off introducing yourself, Sergeant Smith? Make sure you're on yelling.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Sergeant. Morning, Sergeant.
I am Sergeant Smith. I am the OSUT instructor for Class Bravo. I have current billet right now is Fire Team Leader of Havoc Team 2. Think I'm Squad 2IC now. I have secondary billets and I have quite several of them. First one is S1 Personnel Clerk. Next one is S2 Media Specialist and S3 OSUT Instructor.
Alright, gentlemen. Name's Sergeant Margiotta. I am T-Lead for Havoc 1-4, Charlie, which is Anti-Armor Specialist. I am also the 2IC of said squad, and my secondary billet is also OSUT Instructor S3. And we have two helpers here today with us, Specialist McCoy.
Thanks, Sergeant. Specialist McCoy, Havoc 1-2 Bravo, Automatic Rifleman, and Fire Team 2IC, and in training to be an OSUT Assistant Instructor.
Go ahead and stand up.
Thanks, Sergeant.
Yep. And we also have Private Gillen here, who's also helping out today.
Look at the seat. Easy self-destruct your attack seat. Window key. There you go.
Thank you, Sergeant. I'm Private Gillen. My bill is 1-3 Bravo AR. I'm just here to help out as much as I can. Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, Private. Alright, so I know y'all went over this a little bit in recruit training, addressing NCOs, officers, warrant officers. I see that y'all have paid attention because I didn't have to correct anybody, which that's awesome. So we give respect to everybody in the unit, no matter if you're a private, all the way up to Captain Drumheller. You're gonna get your rank and name every time. When it's official. When it's not official and you're shooting shit with your friends in a team speak, and there's no need for throwing rank around. So NCOs, that's from corporal all the way up to first sergeant. Corporal, it would just be corporal, sergeant. No matter if they're a sergeant, sergeant first class, staff sergeant, they're all just sergeants. You don't have to put the full title in front of their name when you would talk to them. Only person that needs that is First Sergeant. That's First Sergeant Brewer. Every time he talks to you or you need to talk to him, it's First Sergeant Brewer. No Sergeant Brewer, no first, no top. You will hear people calling him top, but that's fucking very relaxed. And that's people that's been knowing him for a good while now, so don't think that they can, that they get away with it, that you can get away with it. Show him respect. He's been in here for quite a few years, and he does a lot for the unit. Dressing officers, be yes sir, no ma'am, yes ma'am. You can call them lieutenants, captain, yes captain, yes lieutenant. You don't have to go out with their full rank. You don't have to call them first lieutenant or second lieutenant, or just lieutenant and their name, or yes sir and their name will be fine. Same goes with warrant officers. You can just call them yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. You don't have to go with the full title if you don't want to. Be warrant officer. Now we do have CWs, which are chief warrant officers. They, just like first sergeant, have a nickname. To a point, you can call them chief, but then again, that is not very professional. So I would just stick to yes sir, no sir. Alright, so if we're in a TeamSpeak room, or even here, and say a staff sergeant or higher walks in, you will call the class or room to at ease. If a officer walks in here, you would call the room to attention. And when that happens, everybody shuts their mouth and waits for them to either deliver the message they have or tell everybody to carry on. That's as long as there is that person coming in is a higher ranking than the highest one in the room. Pretty straightforward. Let's see. So the next 4 days, well, 3 days of classroom, we're going to be doing a lot of literature. We're going to be asking you if you're tracking, if you understand the material that we're explaining to you. Make sure you answer us, because we have a lot of information that we are spitting out at you. So if you have a question, please ask that question. Don't keep it to yourself. We ask if everybody's got it, and you say yes, we're going to keep on going and expect you to understand that information when we go to use it in a practical sense. So if you do have a question or a comment, you will go to side chat and you will put a C or Q. Thank you, specialist.
Apologies, sir.
That's fine. In side chat, and we will get to your question or comment as soon as possible. As long as we're not ranting too much or trying to get out that information per se. See, so we're gonna have 4 days of OSUT. Day 1 today is we're gonna go over some individual soldiering skills. Day 2 will be movement and maneuver. Day 3, basic navigation, going over the maps we use here, how to read them, how to use them, understanding terrain features on a map, and how to use them to our benefit in moving and maneuvering against the enemy. Also, day 3, we'll be working with VIX, our helicopters. We will do a vehicle identification with OP4 and Blue 4 vehicles, and mounting and dismounting of the 6x6 Coyote that we use for our convoys. Day 4, we will have a practical exercise, FTX, and or graduation, as long as everybody survives that FTX. If everybody goes KIA, obviously everybody in OSUT fails. So there's 2 ways you can fuck up day 4. Either everybody dying or failing the oral quiz at the end of the day. So, any questions, gentlemen, before I start getting into the fucking meat and potatoes of today?
No, Sergeant.
Alright, so, yep. Not starting in a good fucking direction. Alright, so OSUT is a blend of U.S. Army Basic Combat and 11 Bravo Infantry Advanced Individual Training. So, first and foremost, gentlemen, no matter what billet you go for, you are an 11 Bravo, you and a rifleman. So we're going to teach you the skills to be a rifleman. Now these 5 words that I'm about to say are very important for being the individual infantry. And they are shoot, move, communicate, survive, and sustain. Say them again. Shoot, move, communicate, survive, and sustain. Live by those 5, and you will be a very good 11 Bravo. Just ace interact back on the seats, gentlemen. Alright. So some of you will be in this unit long enough to get into a leadership billet. Just let you know, it's not about being in charge of people underneath you. It's about taking care of those in your charge. You let them eat first, because those guys are the ones that are fighting for you. So don't alienate them. Get to know them. Gain their respect. It's earned, not given. When you're in charge. So we're here. Our responsibility is to ensure every soldier is prepared to succeed. Nothing is taken for granted, and every soldier is given the knowledge and skills to thrive in the unit. It's all up to you, but we will give you the skills that you need. Now, we don't have enough time. This fucking OSUT can be 4 weeks long, so we can go over everything that needs to go over. But we got to condense it down in 4 days, so it's going to be quick and fast. And not everything you will learn in the unit is going to be taught here. Once you get billeted, you pick your MOS, you get in your squad. More precise and hands-on training will occur. Here in the 506, we are a global brotherhood of like-minded people, many of whom either served or serving in the military. OSUT is a place where taking responsibility for yourself and care of your brothers has significant meaning. This is a place to build friendships and develop yourself as a leader. Because we take responsibility as NCO trainers seriously, the bar is kept very high in OSUT. You'll be instructed on specific procedures for performing tasks, and we expect everyone to follow the procedures as discussed and demonstrated by the numbers. So, the way we show you is how we want it. Once you get billeted, you can pick up bad habits there. I can't really stop you, but while you're under mine and Sergeant Smith, DOC, we expect you to follow just like it's taught in OSUT. Alright, so we're going to go over the first thing. Like I said, we're going to go over communicate and shoot. So, right now we're going to go over communication. Believe it or not, this is probably the most important thing as being a rifleman. Without communication, you're doomed to fail. Everybody in the task force, everybody in the company works on communication, and we still don't get it right. But don't give up, and just keep on trucking along. So we have our radios that we use. They're short-range radios. They're good for about 5 clicks. Use the hell out of them, but don't overuse them. Don't send your life story over the radio. Everything you send over the radio needs to be with brevity. Contact reports, anything that needs to be sent over the radio needs to be brevity. Now, our radios have, I believe, 9 channels, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, excuse me, 8 channels. Each channel has a frequency that can be programmed to that channel. Now, when you're doing a radio check, you're not doing a radio check on channel 1, 2, or 3. You're doing a radio check on that frequency. Making sure that you have it plugged into your radio is transmitting right, and people are receiving you. That's the meat and potatoes of a radio check. Alright, so we have 8 channels. Each channel can hold a frequency. Most you're going to deal with is just 1 channel until you get into a leadership billet. Once you're into a leadership billet, that 1 channel will go up to a second channel, an alternate channel. So right now I'm going to show you how to program your first channel. Did they get radios yet, specialists?
Negative, Sergeant. I have radios for them.
Alright, if you don't mind handing them out, please.
Alright, I'll start Private Wilson will drop a radio here. Just hop up and grab it. Alright, Private Bets, go for it.
Not
And-
standing me up.
Use your
Scroll wheel.
scroll wheel. And Private Janovic over here.
Alright, excellent. So in order to get to your radio, we're going to hit either left or right control and hit the P key or Papa key, and that will bring up your radio. When you first click on it, radio comes up, you're going to have channel 1 with just a random frequency started with. Now, the number buttons on the radio do not do anything, but your CLR button does. It clears out the frequency. The ENC button sets the frequency once you type it in. Your PRE up and down, which is positive and negative, they change channels. Your right facing arrow is your speakers. Never ever press that. You will go from headset to speaker, and when somebody starts transmitting, you will get feedback, and it is fucking a headache. Your left facing arrow is how you will set an additional channel to listen to, so you are able to listen to 2 channels simultaneously with this radio. And stereo settings. Stereo settings allows you to decide in what ear you want to listen to what channel. Alright, so 2 frequencies we're going to be dealing with in OSUT these next 4 days. First frequency is going to be 100.1, which is Alpha TeamNet. Your second frequency is going to be 100, which is SquadNet. Alright. This is the way I like to do my radio, and this is how most people do it. After OSUT, or you feel like you have a different way you would like to do it, by all means. But this is just the way I like to do it. So channel 1, you hit CLR, it'll clear the screen, and you will just have channel 1 with a cursor blinking in it. I want y'all to type in 100.1 and hit enter, ENT.
Make sure you're clicking enter on the radio and not hitting it on your keyboard.
Once you do that, the cursor should go away. You should see channel 1 with the frequency 100.1 on it. Is everybody at that point?
Yes, Sergeant. Yes, Sergeant.
Roger, Sergeant.
Excellent. Alright, so since you will be in a leadership position, at least 1 or 2 of you, these next 4 days, I am going to show you how to do a alternate channel. Now, since we're going to be listening to an alternate channel, it helps out to break those 2 channels up into a left and right ear. Since we're still dealing with this channel 1, we're going to break this channel up and have it to where it goes only in our left ear. Now, to accomplish that, you are going to click on the bottom left button that says stereo settings until you should only have to click it once, and it should say left only on the bottom right hand side of the screen. Did that happen for everybody?
Yes, Sergeant. Yes, Sergeant.
Roger, Sergeant.
Alright, so everybody should hear me in their left ears at this time, correct?
Affirm. Sergeant.
Yep.
Roger, Sergeant.
Excellent. Alright, so now we have our first frequency set on channel 1, which is TeamNet. Since we don't have a full squad here, we're just going to deal with 1 fire team, which is Alpha. And this is the frequency to use on Alpha fire team. That allows the fire team leader, which is his calling station is Alpha. He can talk to everybody in his fire team. So that fire team is consistent of a fire team leader, an auto rifleman, a grenadier, and a rifleman. Now, he's not the only one allowed to talk on that frequency. Everybody on that frequency can talk. That's where communication comes in key. The rifleman sees something that the other team members don't. He needs to get up on comms and start giving out distance, direction, and degrees on said target. We're going to go over that at some other point. Just giving y'all an example. So don't be, for God's sakes, don't be scared to talk over the radio. Alright, so we have team lead, well, excuse me, we have Alpha Team Freak set. We want to set our second frequency. So in order to do that, we are going to hit the plus sign on a PRE button, and that will bring us up to a channel 2 with a random number. We're going to hit the CLR button, takes that random number out, and in its place we're going to type in 100. You will click on the E and T button, which now sets that channel, sets that frequency into that channel, which is channel 2. Now, in order to listen to this channel and be able to talk onto this channel while switch back to channel 1, try not to be confusing here, gentlemen, you will hit the left facing arrow. When you do that, the C2, channel 2 changes into A2, which is alternate 2. Now, by doing that, it will allow you to listen to channel 1 and also channel 2. Since we have channel 1 in our left ear, we're going to make channel 2, or alternate 2, come into our right ear. Now in order to do that, you're going to hit the stereo settings twice, and in the bottom right corner you should see additional, and it should say right only. Once you have that, you will hit the minus sign, and that will bring you back to channel 1. Now that's something you cannot forget to do. In order to monitor both channels, you need to go back to channel 1. So you can transmit on channel 1 using your caps lock key. And you also hear me in your left ear. You can now transmit using the T or Tango key, and you should hear me in your right ear. And this is SquadNet, and this is TeamNet. Everybody good to go with that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Roger, Sergeant.
Excellent. So, chances are 2, maybe 3 of y'all will be team leading at some point these next 4 days. You will need both channels, both frequencies set into the radio. Channel 1 is team, so that team lead, you're team leading, you need to be able to talk to your team, so you need that 100.1 set. But as a team lead, you need to also communicate with squad lead. That is what frequency 100 is for. That allows you and your squad lead to converse. Now, nobody in the fire team should be monitoring frequency 100. Now, for good measure, the auto rifleman, the grenadier, and rifleman should have frequency 100 set as channel 2. Now, it being set as channel 2, it does not allow you to monitor that channel because it's still C2. As soon as you change it to A2, you can monitor it because it's monitoring that second channel. When it's just C2, you have to actually click on that second channel to hear what's going on with it. And the reason why everybody should have it programmed as channel 2 in their radio when they're not a team lead is if the team lead goes down, the predetermined 2IC or second in charge needs to step up, needs to keep that flow of information going to the rest of the guys in the fire team. So it takes that much longer for the program a radio in a firefight so he can get up on communication with the squad lead if the alpha goes down. So it only takes a few seconds to do it with pre-combat checks, and it seems to take forever when you're getting fucking shot at. So, that's radios, that's how you set it up. Multiple channels, each channel can hold a frequency. I know I mentioned 2 ICs. That is second in charge. They have 2 ICs of fire teams. They have a 2 IC of a squad. So if the fire team leader goes down, the 2 IC steps up. The 2 IC gets shot, goes down, the 3 IC. It can always go to the 4 IC. And after that, then the whole fucking fire team is wiped out. So pray to God that never happens. Any questions yet, gentlemen, before I go into the next portion of this?
No, Sergeant.
No, Sergeant.
Alrighty. You could also, might have forgot this, you can adjust the volume on your radio. If you click Control P, you have the dial in the middle. If you right click that dial, you will go up in volume, and if you left click, you will go down with volume. That's something you're going to have to play with in a firefight. Alrighty. We're going to go over some radio procedures and pro words. So we have phonetic numbers and a phonetic alphabet, which we don't use really because our maps do not have letters and numbers. They're just strictly numbers. But if you want to know about the phonetic alphabet, you can Google it. There are 2 versions. There's the military and there is the police/civilian phonetic alphabet. We use the military, obviously. So we have phonetic numbers that we use. We use 1 through 9 and 0. But we have 3 numbers that we say ever so differently, so not to draw any confusion when speaking over the radio. Those 3 numbers are 3, 5, and 9. The number 3 is said like tree, like the thing that grows out of the ground and makes leaves. 5 is said like fife, F-I-F-E. And 9 is said as niner. Now, you don't have to use the phonetic numbers all the time. If there's no need for it, and those 2 having a conversation can understand each other just fine, you don't have to use them. Now, if there's a gunfight and you're giving out directions and you need to be precise with them and you don't have time to fucking have somebody go, huh, what? What did you say? What was that number? Because they thought it was something else, then I suggest using it. Like I said, 3 as in tree, 5 as in fife, and 9 as in niner. Make sure when you're giving out directions and degrees using using your compass, a micro dagger, don't bundle the numbers together like 135. Everything will be 1 tree 5 or 1 3 5. Just makes it easier to understand. Are you still able to hear me, Private Wilson?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, they're just saying you were losing connection, but I'll keep going until we lose you. Alright, so we got pro words. This is what helps with brevity over the radio. Now in OSUT, you're going to use this pro word a lot when talking over the radio. Probably not so much when you get out. but this pro word is this is. So whenever you're trying to get in touch with somebody, you're trying to establish communication with somebody, you're going to use the pro word this is. So if I was trying to get in touch with Sergeant Smith, I would go, Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta. Are you able to get back on? Probably wasn't.
It's still showing me in the game.
No, everything closed out.
I'll go get him when he loads back in, Sergeant.
Okay. Yeah, just keep taking notes until you get back in. Just put a C down in the oh no, shit, you can't do that. Just let me know when you're coming back in so I can stop my lecture. Alright, so like I said, this is pro word you're going to be using a lot, so if I need to get in touch with Sergeant Smith, I would go with Sergeant Smith. This is Sergeant Margiotta, over. That's how all communication should be started. Even after communication has started, still you should start with you, this is me. So once I get in touch with him, start that communication with Sergeant Smith, this is Sergeant Margiotta, over. He will come back with Sergeant Margiotta, this is Sergeant Smith, go, over. And or send it, whatever he wants to say, and he will say over at the end. So it doesn't matter how long that conversation is, it's always you, this is me. Now, next pro word is going to be over. Think of the word over as a football. When you start a transmission, you have control of the football. As soon as you finish saying what you need to say, you say over. That's just like you throwing the football to the person that you're having that communication with. Once they catch the football, now they have control over the net. And if they need to answer or comment, wait one, gentleman.
Alright, I'll go get him, Sergeant. I got an extra radio for him.
Yep, thank you. Welcome back, Private Wilson. So, how much did you hear of?
I heard everything.
Okay.
Please stop talking.
Okay. Excellent. So, over is just a pro word that allows two people talking to each other to know when that said person has finished with whatever they're saying. So you're not talking over each other. We used the pro word over. Any questions on that pro word, on how it's used and why it's used?
No, Sergeant.
No, Sergeant.
No, Sergeant.
All right. Next one is out. As soon as those two people start with communication, they have control over that net. Nobody should be busting in on that net and talking over their comms. Now, when the pro word out is used, then that frees up the net for somebody else's communications. Now, normally, the person who started that communication is the one that outs that communication. Now, it could be a little different. Say if you're a squad leader and you're talking up to platoon, talking to your platoon sergeant and its platoon commander, and they're busy, chances are they're going to out the conversation before you get a chance to. Just because brevity is very important. They're talking to 4 squad leaders. So essentially, they're trying to command 40 people during a task force operation. So that's about the only time you're going to have somebody that, whoever doesn't initiate the conversation, out the conversation. And they're doing it just for brevity. So out goes at the end, whenever you're two done with the conversation you're having. Person initiated a conversation will say out, and then that lets everybody else on the net know that the net is free and they're able to use it. Never ever use over and out together. That's Hollywood bullshit. As I explained, over and out mean completely two different things. You can't have an over if you have an out. Next pro word is break. Break is kind of like a filler for your brain and person you're talking to or contacting their brain if there's a lot of information or a lot of important information. So instead of initiating a contact with them and then fucking spilling your guts out on the radio to them with all this information in one long-winded sentence, you can use the pro word break to break it up. In order to use that pro word, you will send out a few bits of information. They break. You will release the key on the mic, on the radio. You will key it back up. You will resume sending information. And if you need to break it up again, you can say break, release the key on the radio, key it back up, and finish on with your information. So there's no set number to how many times you can use break or break up a message. Many times you need to get it through clearly. Next pro word is wait over. If you're a team lead or a squad lead calls you over the radio and you're busy in a firefight or tending with a battle buddy or doing whatever and you can't get back on comms with him, you can't talk at that moment. You can just tell him simply, actual or alpha, this is so-and-so, wait over. And that's it. Tell him that, and that lets him or her know that you need at least 30 seconds to a minute to be able to respond to that transmission. So, and instead of saying, hold on, I'm busy, I'll get back with you, over, you can just tell them, wait over. Those two simple, small words give him all the information he needs. Next pro word is going to be wait out. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 second. Something else with the pro word wait over. When you use wait over, you still have control of that net. Unless said person who is contacting you outs the transmission. If he doesn't out the transmission, you still have control over that net, even though you wait over. Now the next pro word is wait out. Wait out is used the same way as wait over. Wait out means that you will need a minute to longer than a minute to respond to said transmission. Now, when you wait out that transmission, that net is now freed up and anybody can come and talk on that net. So there's actually 3 times, I guess, or 2 times somebody else will out the transmission if they didn't initiate it. But this is not used very often. Wait out is not something used very often. If you got to do that, then your squad leader, fire team leader is probably wondering what the fuck is going on, that you need that much time to get back with them. Next one is Roger. Roger is simply breaking down the term, I understand it, I understand your transmission, and breaking it down to just saying Roger. So I'm saying, I understand what you said. Roger is fucking suffice. Actual, this is Alpha, Roger over. That's all he needs to know. Now, that's just for meaning that you understand that transmission. Next pro word is Wilco. Wilco takes Roger a step further. Where Roger means that you understand that said transmission, Wilco means you understood said transmission and you will comply. You will do it. Everybody get the gist between those two?
Roger, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright. So that's Roger and Wilco. Never put them together, same as over and out. They mean 2 totally different things. Yes, Private Bet's question.
Is huh? Is that acceptable, Sergeant? Saying huh means anything but no, or is that not acceptable?
Yeah. If we're kind of having a like schoolroom circle up on like the first sergeant or captain, and they're kind of going over stuff, and they add, everybody understand. Yeah, you can give out a fucking hua. A lot of people do it. It's not a problem.
Not acceptable on the radio, though.
But not acceptable on a radio. Yeah.
Roger.
All right. Next pro word is say again. Don't ever use the word repeat unless you're in Havoc 4 mortars. because that is a mortar term. Repeat is to repeat a fire mission. If you didn't understand or you didn't receive all of the last transmission, you're going to use the pro word say again. So for the love of God, don't say repeat. Yes, Specialist McCoy, comment.
Yeah, thank you, Sergeant. Say again is very useful, particularly if someone's transmitting a lot of information in one radio transmission. You can, if you receive half of the transmission or part of it, you can say again, all after, and then say the last word that they said to let them know that you received all the transmission up to that point, so they don't have to repeat the entire transmission. That's all. Thanks, Sergeant.
Yep. Thank you, Specialist. Yep, so if you didn't get it, just tell them, this is me, say again your last, over, and they will say again what they transmitted. Like I said, repeat is a pro word for the mortar teams to repeat a fire mission. If it ever happens and they catch wind of you saying repeat and they think it's for them, and you happen to push into where their last fire mission was, and they start fucking launching mortars your direction, it's gonna be a bad day. So just kind of get repeat out of your brain and plug it back in with say again. Our next one is read back. It's good for it's kind of like say again if you want to get a order resent. Tell them to read back what they sent you if it's a move order. It can go back two ways. Go two ways. I often read back a order sent by my squad lead just to make sure I heard it correctly. So if my squad leader says to move in this direction and do such and such, I will almost verbatim read back what she sent me, and she'll give me a confirmation that what I heard was correct. So it can go back two ways. Next one is correction. It's fucking plain and simple. It's if you have made an error in a transmission, you will stop if you do catch yourself in time. Say correction, and then you will fix the correction from that point onward. Any question on any pro words I've gone over so far before I get any further?
No, Sergeant.
All right.
No, Sergeant.
Next one is interrogative. Interrogative is a request or a confirmation or a question. Excuse me, request a confirmation or a question. The proper way to use this pro word is to be this is me, interrogative, over. You'll hear a lot of times people going, this is me, interrogative, and then they'll start asking a question or a confirmation of some sort. That's not how it goes. Proper way to use it is this is me, interrogative, over. That gives the squad leader, fire team leader, or even your battle buddy time to either get ready for a question, or if they don't have time, they can tell you to wait over because they know it's not something simple. They know it's a question that's coming, so they don't have time for it, so they can give you that pro word, wait over, and no time has been wasted. And it's all brevity. You're not clogging up the airwaves with unnecessary chatter. Next one is correct. You are correct. So it's simple as you, this is me, correct, over. It's if they ask what they heard was correct. It's just I don't know, can't describe it. It's as simple as that, correct. Next one is wrong. It's used in the same sense of correct. If something that was sent was wrong, then you tell them no. Your last transmission was incorrect or it was wrong. Repeat, excuse me, no, say again your last, over. So, those two are pretty simple. Last but not least, now, if you're waiting, excuse me, if there is a transmission going on between two people and you're covering your sector and you happen to see a fire team size patrol moving, you know, certain direction, left to right or right to left, and such a distance, and nobody else sees them, and they happen to be danger close, or it's something that you need to get information up the COC quickly, but yet two people have control of that net. Well, in order to gain control of that net, you will key up your radio and say, you, this is me, break, 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 over. Or you can start it off with break, 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 you, this is me, over. As soon as that happens, those two people are going to shut up. The person that you're trying to get in touch with too will now initiate the comms with you, and you can get that important information over the net. And when I mean important information, something that could be detrimental to you and your squad and or platoon. You know, if you see one guy standing out there by himself, that's not fucking something you need to break in to the conversation. So, you can go with break, 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 you, this is me, over, and that will get you control of said net. All right. Yes, Private McCoy, comment.
Thank you, Sergeant. Just something to add to the pro word wrong. The most common scenario that I think most of us have seen is someone transmitting on the incorrect net. For example, the fire team leader, his intent is to contact actual or the squad leader, but they mistakenly transmit over the fire team net. So it's okay to speak up in that scenario and say wrong, just say wrong net, and that'll indicate that the message is being transmitted over the wrong frequency.
Yep.
That's all. Thank you, Sergeant.
Yep. Thank you, Specialist. Yep. So you can tell them wrong net, or you can chum up and say check net, and that will let them know that they're transmitting over the wrong net. And you can cut them off when they do that, because you don't want them to waste their time talking over the wrong net. So you can cut them off, say check net, wrong net, and it's for all the best. You're not going to get bitched out. All right, so we are going to get into radio checks. This is probably the first thing you're going to do once you get kitted out for an FTX, a squad training, or an official operation. Now, This is how we're going to teach you how to do it here in OSUT. It can get laxed once you get billeted. I hear it a lot in a unit. People cutting corners with radio checks. But this is how it should go. Alright. I'm going to do a radio check with Specialist McCoy here. And we'll do it a couple of times so you can get the gist of it. Private McCoy, this is Sergeant Margiotta. Radio check on frequency 100.1. Over.
Sergeant Margiotta, this is Specialist McCoy. Have you Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1. Over.
Specialist McCoy, this is Sergeant Margiotta. Copy, out. Well, you can say Roger, out. And that can go either way. I don't have to start that radio check with him. He can start it with me. Everything he said, I would say. Everything I said, he would say. You need me to go over it again, gentlemen?
Yes, Sergeant, one more time.
Alright.
You want me to send it this time, Sergeant?
Yep, yeah.
Sergeant Margiotta, this is Specialist McCoy. Radio check on frequency 100.1. Over.
Specialist McCoy, this is Sergeant Margiotta. I have you Lima Charlie, or 5x5 on frequency 100.1. Over.
Sergeant Margiotta, this is Specialist McCoy. Roger, out.
And that's how you do a radio check. Don't need to hear it again?
No, Sergeant.
Sergeant.
No, Sergeant.
Alright. So, Private Wilson, I want you to do a radio check with Private Betts. Private Betts, one with Private... help me with your name.
Ayanovich.
Ayanovich?
Yes, Sergeant.
Excellent. Alright. So, Private Betts with Private Ayanovich. Private Ayanovich, a radio check with Private Wilson. So, kick it off, Private Wilson.
Private Betts, this is Private Wilson. Radio check on 101.1. How copy?
Oh, you can stop there. You need... We got a couple of words. You were close. You did radio check. You need to list what it is. I mean, you were close. You said radio check on certain. Just make sure you put in frequency, because that's what you're doing a radio check on, is a frequency. So you're doing radio check on frequency 100.1. How copy is fine, but make sure you say over. You can try it again.
Private Betts, this is Private Wilson. Radio check on frequency 100.1. How copy? Over.
Private Wilson, this is Private Betts. I have you Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1. Over.
Private Betts, this is Private Wilson. Lima Charlie, out.
Close. All you had to say is copy out. Since you're contacting Private Betts for a radio check, a frequency check on that channel, he's going to tell you whether or not it's Lima Charlie, which is loud and clear. All you have to do is out the transmission when he comes back. So you would just go Private Betts, this is Private Wilson, copy out. So let's do it one more time. See if we can get it 100% here.
You want to start it from the very beginning or from his standpoint? Right.
Nope, started from the top.
Private Betts, this is Private Wilson. Radio check on frequency 100.1. How copy? Over.
Private Wilson, this is Private Betts. I have you Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1. Over.
Private Betts, this is Private Wilson. Copy out.
Fucking perfect.
Music to my ears.
Alright, Private Bets. Get one with Private Ayanovich.
Private Ayanovich, this is Private Betts. Radio check on frequency 100.1. How copy? Over.
Private Bets, this is Ayanovich. Read you Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1. Over.
Private Ayanovich, this is Private Betts. Roger, out.
Should I continue, Sergeant?
Yes, Private Ayanovich, get one with Private Wilson, and we'll end it there.
Private Wilson, this is Ayanovich. Radio check on frequency 100.1. Over.
Private Ayanovich, Lima Charlie. Over.
Nope. You
Yeah, I
wanna,
need that frequency.
yeah, you wanna let him know that you have him on that frequency. Yep. You can start it from there since you caught it.
Private Yanovich, this is Private Wilson, Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1. Over.
Private Wilson, this is Ayanovich. Roger, out.
Excellent. Sergeant Smith, you had a comment.
Can't hear you, Sergeant.
Alright, make sure, so when you're reading your radio check, you're saying, you're basically saying to call on station, so this is me, radio check on frequency, this and that, over. So, when you say, I read you loud and clear, make sure we don't say how copy, because you're already asking the person, can you hear me? So you don't have to say how copy again. How copy is more of a making sure the person, read the traffic that you sent earlier. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
Roger, Sergeant.
Yeah, so let's be careful when we say how copy on certain things. So when you're doing a radio check, you don't worry about saying how copy, because you're already stating that you want to make sure you're asking the station if they can hear you perfectly on that net.
Cool.
That's it. Thank you, Sergeant.
Yep, thank you. So any questions on communications?
No, Sergeant.
Oh, Sergeant.
Excellent. So just remember, don't be scared to talk on the radio. Use it, love it, learn how to use it to your advantage, so you can outmaneuver, outflank, and outfight the enemy. All right. Oh, Specialist McCoy.
Thank you, Sergeant. Just to add to the importance of your radio, I remember when I went through OSUT with these two gentlemen in front of you here, they were my instructors. Remember that the radio is just as important as your weapon, because if you give out a contact report, you're automatically putting 3 times the firepower in that direction. So even if you are combat ineffective using the radio to get the rest of your fire team to shift their base of fire, you're already, way more combat effective than just by yourself. That's all. Thank you, Sergeant.
Yep. Excellent. So, you hear that shit where the pen is mitered in a sword? Well, the radio can be mitered in a rifle. Alright, I am handing y'all over to Sergeant Smith. He is going to take you onto the fun port of today.
Thank you, Sergeant. BJ, doing fine right now?
Say again, Sergeant.
Are you guys doing okay right now?
Yes,
Roger,
Sergeant.
Sergeant.
No one
Yes,
got to take
Sergeant.
no potty break? If you need a
Yes,
little
Sergeant.
water, you guys good?
Roger.
Alright. So basically we just went over one of the infantry soldier skills which were communication. Then we'll go over about sorry. So basically we're gonna go over excuse me. We're going over your basic weapon systems. So you currently have organic weapons and organic munitions that are basically were issued to you inside of your inventory. So The first part is the M4A1. The M4A1 is basically a weapon system, which is a rifle that is issued to every infantryman, starting off in recruit training and OSUT training. When you get billeted into a regular rifle squad, mainly your main rifle would be the M4A1. The M4A1 is a magazine-fed, gas-operated, air-cooled, shoulder-fired weapon capable of semi-automatic fire or automatic fire mode. And its max effective range for the M4 is 500 meters, and which is on a point target, and 600 meters on an area target. So I'm gonna say that again. The max effective range of the M4 is 500 meters on a point target and 600 meters on an area target. Now moving on to the M249. This is issued towards the saw gunner, which is in the rifle squad. These are the ARs. They're gonna be carrying this bad boy. It still chambers 5.56 rounds. However, it can carry multiple rounds. So you have a 100-round belt or a 200-round belt. With this, you're able to launch out a bunch of lead multiple times, longer and quicker than what a regular M4A1 can do, or a regular M4. So the M249 is an individual portable gas-operated magazine or disintegrating metallic link belt-fed light machine gun. So the M249 is basically a good fighting power as far as a fire-powering source multiplier. Because basically, you can have this thing supporting an element, shooting rounds down the range, and have a whole rifle squad actually moving up. So the M249 is a weapon system that cannot be messed with and not be wasted on as well. Alright, gonna move on to the M320. So the M320 or the M203, these are attachments towards the M4A1 or any M4 variants that allows you to launch grenade rounds. So basically these are our grenade launchers. Basically, they're reachable through the rear, so you basically pop the breech open, you pull it open from the bottom, and then you push the grenade round inside, close it back up, and then the grenade launcher is ready. All you do is pull the trigger and it launches out. The reason why, and you see, I'm Sergeant Margiotta holding it right now. The reason why we prefer the 320 than the 203, which is his older brother, the 320 is capable of ranging out to a longer distance with a better optic. The 203, this optic is very horrible in my opinion, and everyone else believes in that as well. So it's hard for you to range out to 2 targets. However, the 320 can range out to over 400 meters, I believe. Now, lightweight compact. It's a lightweight, compact, breech loading, single shot 40 mic launcher attached to the M4 rifles. The max effective range of the 203 on a point target is 150 meters, and for an area target, 350 meters. The 320, its effective range is 200 meters, and its max effective range is, its max area target is 400 meters. Any questions with the M4A1, M249, and the grenade launchers?
No, Sergeant.
Okay. Alright, move on to, let's go on to actually go towards the M240 Bravo. The M240 Bravo is a medium machine gun issued to our weapon squad members, which are our machine gunners. So the machine gunners carry the M240 Bravo, which chambers 7.62 rounds on the bigger brother, which is the bigger brother of the 249. So with it having a longer chamber and actually chambering 7.62 rounds, this could put out more lead and a heavy caliber, which could stop any infantryman that comes in our way. With the 240 Bravo having that kind of capability, usually we'll see this weapon system being used at maybe a distance of probably 500 meters to 1,000 meters behind the actual assaulting element to support them. The M249 max effective range is about 1,000 meters. However, it does give you capabilities to actually range out further than that. Now, it's that effective range is actually on area targets and not on point targets. Anyone know the reason for that?
I do, Sergeant.
Go ahead and private bets.
Because the 240 Bravo is not meant to be a casually producing weapon, it's more so a suppressive weapon.
Yes. Awesome. The 240 Bravo can be a casualty producing weapon. However, it's not meant for point targets. It's meant for area targets. And I mean by area targets and point targets. So basically, you're suppressing the target. So you're not really trying to hit a specific target. You're trying to hit multiple targets. So you're gonna spray an area to basically make it that much effective. You guys get what I'm talking about? Now, however, at times when infantrymen are getting very close, the whole rules could get broken. You could use that rifle to actually shoot single targets if you need be, if enemy infantrymen are getting closer to friendlies or yourself. So I think some people breach buildings with that. However, people would breach a building and have the M249 as the point man. All right, we'll move on to the AT4. One variant right now that who's this? Still Sergeant Margetta. What he's carrying on his shoulders right now. This is the M136 Heat. AT4s are basically a lightweight, self-contained anti-armor weapon consisting of a free-flight, fin-stabilized rocket-type cartridge. So it only has one main weapon system, which is in the compartment of the tube. Once launched, you pull the trigger, the rocket goes straight towards the target that you pointed out towards. Then it depends on how well the armored the target is. But this is a medium. This is the medium rocket tube. And right now, what he's carrying out is the M72 Law. It's a light anti-armor AT, and basically it could punch through a light armored BTR or any other mobilized Vic that is a technical, I should say. But it doesn't pack that much bigger of a punch as the M136. As you can see, the tube of the M72 Law is smaller than AT4. And the sights on it is horrible as well. Alright, so the tactical engagement of the M136, what you saw first, is 250 meters. Alright, we move on to the FG 148 Javelin.
Nope.
Is that what you have in your hand? Oh no, we have the M3 Maz. We used to have the older variant, but now we have the new variant. The Maz comes with a option of having a sight optic that you can use to assist you on ranging out towards the targets. With the Maz, the max effective range is 900 meters, correct?
Yes.
Max effective range is 900 meters with the M3 Maz. The rocket is bigger and better than the actual rocket for the M136. I'm sorry, M136. So with it being bigger and better, this could pack a bigger punch, allowing you to punch through any main battle tanks that you see on the field. Now, depending on the range out of the target, if you try to hit a target that's 900 meters away and you try to hit a main battle tank, 75% chance that it may go catastrophic. But however, I'm not the one who carries M136. Carries any anti-armor, big weapon systems like that. Sergeant Margetta does, so he can tell you more about whether or not if you hit a target 900 meters away, whether that be 100% effectiveness.
It wouldn't be 100%, but
75%, I'd say. Right?
Guarantee I'll fuck it up.
Alright, thank you, Sergeant Margetta. Then lastly, we have our, and battle, like I said, the Maz rocket is better. Alright, where you see right now what Special McCoy has, this is the FGM 148 Javelin launcher. Basic Javelin has two compartments. You have one, which is the main targeting system, which you put right into the tube and allows you to target towards whatever target you're trying to get towards. But however, right now, everything comes standard within that Javelin, so everything is already together once you carry it with you. But once you are targeting it towards a enemy armored piece, all you gotta do is hold T and make sure you're on thermal vision, and it could range out to any target as long as you have your eyes out on the target. So it could be any distance, which is its max effective range. Now the reason why it doesn't have a max effective range on it is because the way how the Javelin works is that once you launch the rocket towards the target, what happens is that the rocket goes the first weapon system, which is in the rocket, it just pushes the rocket out of the tube about 50 meters in front of you. Then that's when the main engines kick off, which is in the rocket, which causes it to go straight up into the air, where you don't see anymore, and then it will land right on top of the armored piece that you were actually targeting towards. So, the max damage that you can do onto a tank is if you hit it from the top. That's where it's mainly the weakest at. So with this rocket hitting the top of the armor piece, it basically makes the whole armor piece flat, and no longer effective. Disabling the turret and disabling the vehicle. That's why the javelin is the most effective weapon system within our whole arsenal. However, within a whole team, they can only carry at least 2 rockets per team, which means you're carrying 1 rocket and then your assistant's carrying 1 rocket. Yes, Specialist McCoy?
Thank you, Sergeant. It's important to note there, as the Sergeant said, there are 2 firing modes for the Javelin. There's a direct fire mode, and then there's the top-down firing mode, which is what you'll use most of the time against larger armor because a lot of the modern tanks have reactive armor. That's all. Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, sir. Specialist. All right, those are our organic weapons. Any questions with them?
No, Sergeant.
Sergeant.
Is that no or yes? Say negative that way. Figure out because something that no was a yes. So everyone is no, correct?
Correct.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. All right, next we have is our organic munitions. We have non-lethal and lethal munitions that we have within our arsenal. So I'm gonna go through the list of them. We have the M67 fragmentation grenades. We have our smoke grenades, and then we have our stun grenades and our demolition blocks. Now within our smoke grenades, these come with signal colors, signifying what they do. So we don't actually have all these smokes for concealment. They actually have their own purpose towards it to basically lessen down the communication wise that we need. So and remember, like we said about brevity, and that's what Sergeant Martin has been pointing out and trying to emphasize a lot. So the M18 yellow smoke or white smoke grenade, it's mainly meant for concealment. So you can use this to conceal the movement of any infantrymen, to cover yourself while you're bandaging, but advise not bandage yourself behind yellow smoke because they can still spray through it. But yellow smoke is mainly meant for concealment. Next is green smoke. M18 green smoke signal color is meant for marking friendly location. So they can use this for if there is a danger close customer coming in, they're gonna throw a green smoke on the location, saying this is where friendly location is at. So then when Thunder, which is our 18 pilots, come through, or if any of our Apache pilots come in, they'll figure out, okay, this is friendly location, so anything that's away from this green smoke is possibly enemies, and that's how they engage it. And also, be careful with the green smoke because, like I said, marks friendly location. So if friendlies think this is safe, they're gonna run towards it. And I'll touch in more into that once I go through all the yellow smokes. I'll tell you about the dangers of yellow smokes and what you got to do in the procedures of it. All right, we're gonna move on to blue smoke. Blue smoke symbolizes broken chain of command. That's if anyone in leadership. That means if your whole leadership is broken down. So, and I'm going to go in more in depth with that. So, say if your fire team leader goes down, you still have radio communications with your fire team leader. But if your whole team goes down, and you're the only one alive, then you're going to throw that blue smoke, symbolizing that your whole chain of command is down. If the platoon HQ and so if all platoon HQ is down, you throw a blue smoke. However, blue smokes aren't really used. Mainly the RTO will be carrying blue smoke because he's the one who will mainly be signifying if the broken chain command is down. But you'll be carrying blue smoke with you throughout OSUT as well, symbolizing whether or not your broken chain command is down. All right, so let's move on to purple smoke as well because I didn't touch into that. Your M18 purple smoke symbolizes a mass cast. Your mass class is basically if a whole fire team of a squad is down. So it has to be a whole full fire team, which is 4 men, usually 5 or more, is down in a squad that is a mass cast. Now, you're not allowed to deem whether a mass cast is a mass cast. Only medics can, which is why you don't carry purple smoke in your inventory. So once again, only medics can signify what a mass cast is, but purple smoke is basically signal color of a mass cast. Now, with blue smoke, the reason why you're going to throw blue smoke is you can't signify if it's a mass cast or not. So you're going to throw blue smoke saying your whole broken chain of command is down without having to throw the purple smoke. Because that is also another signal to medics that you got multiple people who are down here, which will bring medics, but now also medics will respond to this. Other squads will come in to assist to basically help you guys establish security and then cover the medics as they bandage up your chain of command. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the M18 red smoke grenade. A red smoke signifies its enemy location. That means that if enemies in this location, so be aware of that. That's what the whole thing it means for. So if you're able to throw that red smoke on a location where you believe enemies are at, then that means that enemies are too close for you to even throw that smoke. You should start shooting engaging contacts instead of throwing that red smoke. However, some people do carry red smoke if a main battle tank gets too close to position and they're able to throw that red smoke. That's what they'll throw it. But otherwise, you're not going out all Johnny Wally throwing a red smoke onto a main battle tank's location because you're going to get yourself wrecked as soon as you try to get there. But however, red smoke signifies its enemy location. You can use also red smoke rounds for your 320 or your 203, and you can launch that out about 300 meters where you believe enemy contacts are at, or where you believe enemy armor is at. Alright, last signal color is orange smoke. Orange smoke means two things, but mainly danger area. So the danger areas signifies is either an LZ location, and people who be carrying these orange smoke would be TAC P or JTACs. They're going to be ones carrying orange smoke to signify a LZ location for pilots to land at. Or this orange smoke could be used to mark a control that has been set somewhere. So if I set the demolition block, I would throw orange smoke on that location to let other friendlies know that there's a det been set in this area. Any questions with all the smoke colors and their signals?
Negative, Sergeant.
Okay.
Sergeant.
Alright, gonna move on towards M84 stun grenade. A stun grenade is basically, it's just like a flashbang. However, it's very effective if you are throwing it towards enemies that are looking at it. So if you throw the stun grenade in front of an enemy, and he's looking right at stun grenade, he will be flashed and temporarily disabled for about 5 to 10 seconds. You know if he's disabled if his gun's facing towards the ground and his hands are covering his eyes. However, whenever you're going into a building to breach and you're throwing that flashbang to temporarily disable those enemies that are in there, don't go in there expecting them to be flashed and disabled and they can't shoot back at you. So because I would say about 60% of the time that enemy is not flashed. So you're gonna go in. So every time you breach the building, when you're throwing that flashbang, always go in there thinking that I have not thrown a flashbang, even though you have, because you're gonna expect some of them to actually react and see you, even though you threw that flashbang at them. Now, on the other hand, these flashbangs are completely effective on you. So they're much worse than throwing on enemies. You throw a flashbang inside of a building. If the wall is not completely covering you, you're going to get affected by that flashbang. So please be careful on what you have selected for your throwables. Because if you throw that flashbang, people behind you and in front of you can be affected by that flashbang. Stun grenades, if you plan to cook off a stun grenade, which you can do in here, you're going to end up giving yourself a first degree burn. So please be careful when you pull that pin off that flashbang that you throw it and do not burn yourself from the cook-off. Let's go ahead and move on to the M67 fragmentation grenade. The fragmentary grenade is effective. Its most lethal effective range is 5 meters to 20 meters. With that said, the fragmentation grenade can be cooked off in the game as well. However, you gotta be careful. After 2 seconds, you pull that pin and you cooked it off. You need to throw that grenade immediately, or else you will get your hand blown off along with some parts of your body. However, you're gonna go ahead and try to switch towards your fragmentation grenade by pressing your 6 key, which is right above your Yankee and Tango key. That allows you to switch towards your lethal grenades, and to switch towards your non-lethal grenades, which is just your smoke grenades, you're gonna press your 7 key, which is above your Yankee and uniform key. Everyone's tracking for that?
Yes, Sergeant.
Tracking, Sergeant.
Alright. Alright, we'll go with Touch McCoy. He has some comments with the purple smoke and on the flashes. Go ahead.
Paul, I might have missed the purple smoke, Sergeant, but as far as flashes go, we have 2 different types of flashbang grenades indicated by either blue or white stripe. The blue stripe flash grenades have a larger explosive charge, which will cause minor fragmentation damage to those affected by it. The white the white striped flash grenade does not cause damage. So keep that in mind if you know you're clearing a building that has a civilian or high value target that you want to capture. It's best to carry the white striped flash grenades. That's all. Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, Specialist. All right. Lastly, we have our demolition blocks. If you're a fire team leader, you'll be issued 2 times demolition blocks along with the 5 M57 clicker, basically allowing you to set off your det. Now, with your demolition blocks, you're able to set these to break down any walls or any vehicles to explode them. We mainly use these if you're going to leave your vehicle behind. We usually throw a demolition block on the vehicle to basically ruin it. So if it's damaged already, we just put demolition blocks so then enemies cannot use it as their asset. In addition to that, your demolition blocks can be used to destroy any enemy armaments, anything like that. Alright, to set off your demolition block, you go ahead and just place it by using your self-interaction key, hover over explosives, then you'll see demolition block, and then you can click place. So basically release your self-interaction key once you are hovering over the demolition block. It should drop it to the place that you're, it should actually bring up the menu, and then you're going to left-click place to place anywhere you're trying to place it at. Then to set your det to your clicker or your firing device, you're going to go ahead and hover over the demolition block by using your interaction key, which is your Windows key. You can hover over it, then you see where it says set detonator, and then you're going to see where it says M57 firing device, and then you're going to release. Then to blow off your det, you're going to use your self-interaction key, which is Control Windows, explosives, and then detonate, and then you'll see either detonate code 1 or detonate all. Alright, we'll go ahead and move on. The last 2 things that we don't really teach, but you need to know, you have your green spray paint and your red spray paint. Green spray paint symbolizes that the building has been cleared. That way enemy friendlies don't have to waste their time clearing out a building that's already been cleared. Red spray paint symbolizes a friendly det has been marked in this location. So we put spray paint near the det, and then we put spray paint 20 to 50 meters away from the spray paint. The det, so people could be within a safe range of that detonation. Okay, we go ahead and move towards the last thing, which is our prowords for fragmentation grenades. So everybody's going to have to know how to actually prep the grenade and throw it to where everyone around them to not be actually harmed by this fragmentation grenade. So what you're going to do is use these 3 prowords for different scenarios. The first scenario is you throwing a grenade. So if I'm going to throw the grenade, I'm going to yell out, frag out. Then throw my frag. Now, if you're not the one issuing this order, you're going to echo out the order. So if I say frag out, y'all going to say frag out as well. Just like people around me can hear that there's a fragmentation grenade being thrown, and they can know not to run towards the location where that frag is being thrown at. That's why you say frag out before you throw it, so then they can see where it's being thrown at for a quick second. And like I said, do you guys remember how to cycle through your fragmentation grenades?
Roger, Sergeant.
And what key is it then, Private Bets?
Your 6 key, Sergeant.
Awesome. Alright, let's go ahead and move on. The next pro word is frag. Frag means that enemy has thrown a fragmentation grenade near your location or somewhere. You've heard it being chugged out, you heard a pin being pulled, and you heard it being thrown. You're going to yell out frag. Then everyone else around you is going to yell out frag. They're going to echo out that order. And keep on echoing so that people can run away. Now, if fragmentation grenade is being thrown, even if it's friendly or enemy, you're going to make sure you hit the deck, so your stomach towards the ground. Your feet should be facing towards the grenade, head facing away. Why, you ask? The reason for that is because you'd rather come out of here with your head intact than your legs. You don't want any piece of that fragmentation grenade going through your piece of your skull. So let's make sure we have our feet facing towards the grenade and our head facing away from it. Alright, now the last pro word is bad frag. Say you're accidentally press your G key and you have a fragmentation grenade selected, and you press G and accidentally throw on your fragmentation grenades. You're going to yell out bad frag. Please make sure you do this. If you don't do it and you throw a bad frag, it's gonna make it seem worse when they ask who threw a bad frag and someone actually has it on their helmet cam and then seeing that it was you. So make sure you call out bad frag to prevent any other casualty, so that our men can actually be ready to keep on moving towards the contact that they're being shot from. So please call out bad frag. So I'm gonna say this again. You have 3 forwards: frag out, frag, and then bad frag. Any questions with all the literature I just said to you?
Negative, Sergeant.
Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
Awesome. All right, on your feet.
Alrighty then.
Private McCoy, Special McCoy, can you take him to the supply sergeant and then get them ready for us to take, so we can take him towards the grenade range?
Roger that, Sergeant.
Or grenade pit, I should say. Thank you.
All right. Let me clean this crap up.
All right, gentlemen, we have a volunteer for fire team lead today.
Special's gonna put him in our box because First Sergeant and I just realized that the actual box that they used to see supply sergeant does not work. It doesn't actually give them the components to their backpack that we have now.
Roger
Let me
that.
throw one down out here real quick. Make it easy.
Copy. All right, gentlemen, any volunteers to be fire team lead today?
I'll do it, Specialist.
All right, Private
Specialist
Vets,
Vets.
you are now known as Alpha. All right, you're
Roger.
all, for this exercise, you're all going to grab a standard rifleman loadout with the AT-4 once the sergeant has an arsenal down. All right.
Wunderbar.
Once you have your loadout set, go ahead and make your way past the building and line up in a fire team line, and with Alpha in front.
File team file.
Excuse me, thank you, Sergeant. Correction, fire team file.
Make sure you pull that mag out of there, Wilson. Stow it away in your vest.
Where did you want us at, Sergeant?
Right there. Right here. So when you're in a fire team file, this is be the form you're going to do your pre-combat checks. When you are in a FTX, squad training, are pretty much the only two. If you're in an actual operation, you're not going to get in pre-combat formation.
Oh, Sergeant. I think we need to grab fresh radios and vectors for these gentlemen.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen, follow me.
That's fine.
All right, in this first box right here,
Just
you're going to grab
with it.
a radio.
That's fine.
In the second box right here, you're going to grab a pair of Vector 2-1 Knights for your binoculars. And then return to formation when you're ready. And then you'll need to reset your radio frequencies, just so you know, every time you grab a fresh radio.
Alright, you guys just go ahead and do your radio checks with each other, make sure that's set, and then we'll go ahead and move on to grenade pit.
Private Bets, you have the incorrect helmet.
Good eye, specialist. Go ahead and change your helmet to the regular one. Hope
What
you know
helmet
which one
is
it
that, Sergeant?
It's the same name, but it doesn't have 506 in parentheses.
506 has the black spade.
Where's the box at?
So right here.
Yep. Yeah. Okay.
Sergeant Mariola
Just don't make sure you don't select backpack because just only select headgear and then switch it to the regular one.
Strong?
Sergeant Mariola, is my helmet good?
There you go.
Yes. Yep. You're good to go.
Copy. Thank you, Sergeant.
Well.
So you're earning that spade and OSUT here, gentlemen.
Alright, get back in your file.
Private Wilson, this is Ayana. Radio check on frequency 100.1 over.
Private Yanovich, this is Private Wilson. Lima Charlie, over.
Nope.
That frequency again.
You wanna try it again, Wilson?
Private Yanovich, this is Private Wilson. Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1, over.
Private Wilson, this is Ayana. Roger, out. Private Bets, this is Ayana. Radio check on frequency 100.1 over.
Private Yanovich, this is Private Betts. I have you Lima Charlie on frequency 100.1, over.
Private Bets, this is Ayana. Copy, out.
Alright, I like the fucking enthusiasm, Private Yanovich. But since he is your team leader for today, Private Betts will now be known as Alpha.
Yes, Sergeant.
And that's something I remember, in the Lieutenant unit we use call signs and we use calling stations. So call signs like Actual and Havoc within a unit, because the whole company has its own call sign. And you have your calling stations, which is Havoc, 1-3, Bravo, or whatever. So make sure you remember that you call people by their calling stations, which is Actual is his calling station. I'm sorry, Alpha is his calling station. And then Actual is a calling station as well. Alright, we're done with our radio checks, correct?
Yeah. I think Private Yanovich took care of that.
Alright, awesome. Thanks
Just
for the
need
initiative.
earplugs,
Yep.
I think, is the only thing we need for now.
If you guys get earplugs in, correct? Go ahead and put that in now. I think I know how to yell, so I'll go ahead and make sure y'all can hear me. Earplugs are in?
Roger,
Awesome,
Sergeant.
go ahead and follow me.
Did he put earplugs in again?
Self Ace Interact, and then equipment.
Weapons
Left
range
control
complex.
and Windows.
There you go. One more. Here we go. Hey, Special McCoy.
Yes, sir.
You want to take him to grenade pit, Special McCoy?
Roger
And then
that.
demonstrate how to throw a grenade,
Grenade range, roger that.
along with smokes as well, and effectively filling.
Roger that. Alright, gentlemen, follow me.
Oh, come on.
Isn't,
Yell.
isn't Sal Dutch?
Yeah. Someone else, former guy.
Alright, gentlemen, go ahead and pick a spot. Spread out in the divots here.
Yeah.
Alright, everyone can hear me alright. Maybe you guys on the left move in a little bit. Alright, Roger, roger that.
Ooh, that's gonna be dangerous. Let's see if I can lower that fucking.
Yeah,
keep
Will Wilson,
going
go
on
ahead and
left.
shift left.
Yeah, that's gonna fuck somebody up there.
Alright, I'm going to start with fragmentation grenades. So go ahead and everyone make sure that you have a fragmentation grenade selected.
Huh?
I'm set.
All right. So let's start with Private Wilson here. You guys remember the protocol for throwing frags? So Private Wilson, when you're ready, go ahead, call frag out. Throw your frag at a safe distance and try to hit those targets in the back there.
Frag out.
Frag out.
Frag out.
Frag out.
Recover. All right. Good throw. Private Bets, you're up.
Yeah, you gotta make sure you're lucky that you didn't get any shrapnel on that one, Private Wilson.
Frag out.
Frag out.
Frag out. Recover. All right. Private A. Ionovich.
Frag out.
Frag out.
Frag out.
God damn it.
Recover. All
Quick
right.
pop
so-
quiz. If we didn't have that cover over there, how would you be going prone? So if you didn't have these sandbags. Awesome.
I pressed
Nice job, Private Bets.
Zulu.
Yep, but look at private bets. Make sure your feet are facing towards the grenade, head facing away. Are you can resume it? Not special request.
Thank you, Sergeant. Yeah, definitely. These sandbags here are protecting us for now, but remember, in the field, you're not going to have this kind of convenient cover. So make sure you're protecting the majority of your body by facing away from a frag.
Cool.
All right, let's move on to usage of smoke grenades. So at this point, I want you guys to hit your Shift Kilo key, Shift K. You should see a wind indicator on the top left of your screen.
Yes, Sergeant.
Roger.
All right, so that indicates the direction the wind is blowing, and the dots indicate the speed of the wind. So when using smoke as concealment, you want to take this into consideration, because the wind will change the effective area of where that smoke is landing. So say you want to conceal that bunker on the left with the MG nest on the back left there. Where would you throw your smoke grenade?
Just to the right of it, Sergeant. Or Specialist.
Stay firm. All right, let's go ahead and give it a shot. Private Wilson, make sure you're on yellow smoke. Go ahead and conceal us from that machine gun nest.
Specialist McCoy, I have a question.
Send it.
Still call frag out for any other grenade?
Negative. For this, you'd call smoke out, just to sound it out, but it does not need to be echoed, just to indicate that smoke is going out, so other people aren't throwing, 4 or 5 smokes when the job can be done by 1 smoke.
Huh.
All right, whenever you're ready, Private.
Smoke out.
All right, so that's a little far to the right and far. The idea of using smoke as concealment, particularly from a fixed weapon position, is you want to get it as close as you can in front of that position to give yourself maximum concealment for your own movement. So the closer you can get it to the target is preferred. All right, Private Bets.
Smoke out.
That's right, yeah, a little short, but still effective. So you see now that you have less room to maneuver in between you and the position, as opposed to if you would have landed it right on the position, right?
Cool.
All right, Private Ajanovic.
Smoke out. apply the same thing.
All right. Well, as long as you guys understand the concept of how wind speed and direction affects the target of where you would throw your smoke grenade, do it. Roger that. Sergeants, do you have anything to add?
Nope.
Negative.
Same thing you said, effective concealment. You guys were able to conceal the bunker from those last two smokes. However, there's a gap between the smoke and bunker. I'm not good with smokes throwing it. Just some people are, but it takes practice.
Yeah, it's very difficult in the heat of the moment, especially if you're crossing a large field or something like that. But the main thing is making sure you're conserving smokes because you have a finite amount. So try not to use more than is necessary to accomplish your goal.
It's finally actually working.
Yeah, now we have this new smoke that plumes very nice.
Alright, let's go ahead and go to the fire range.
All right, gentlemen, follow me. Sergeant, are we going to the long range or the short range?
Yeah, the long one.
All right, on me. All right, gentlemen, pick a lane.
You gentlemen can still hear me, correct?
Yes, Sergeant.
Awesome. Alright, so like I said earlier with your M4A1, I said you had two fire modes, correct?
Right, sir.
Semi-automatic and automatic firing mode. With your firing modes, we find, so you guys do know that the 506 is basically a light infantry air assault. I'm sorry, light air assault infantryman. So basically, we don't carry that much rounds, but we make sure we pack up our backpacks, our vest, and our uniform with as much ammo as possible as we need for the mission at hand. However, we don't get resupplied as much as a regular infantry regiment can. So, with that being said, we gotta figure out ways how to actually be effective on our targets and actually take them down to conserve as much ammo as possible at the same time. With that, there are 3 ways we can do that, and those are our basic firing maneuvers. We call those as our rates of fire. The first rate of fire is sustained and are effective. You're launching or you're shooting 1 round every so often. So 1 round for about 2 to 3 seconds, and then you're gonna shoot another round for 2 to 3 seconds. You're gonna do this continuously, so you should be able to shoot 30 rounds within about 2 or 3 minutes. But you're keeping that target's head down, or at least you're hitting the target at its head. So this allows you to actually take your time to get your crosshairs on a target's head and take him out effectively, and then regain your sights back on a new target. In addition to this, sustained effective firing is mainly also used for targets that are about 300 to 400 meters away. That is still within your max effective range on a per target for your M4, but also you have to take your time to engage targets far further away. Alright, move on to rapid. Rapid firing is basically you're doing 2 taps. However, the same amount of time, so 2 to 3 seconds. So you're going to do double taps. So you're going to shoot, 2 to 3 seconds, put your crosshairs back on the target, shoot, wait 2 to 3 seconds, and shoot. Continue doing that. At this time, if you're doing this when you're engaging threats, say the threat is about now 400 to 250 meters, you're going to be doing double taps. So 400 to 200 meters, you'll be doing double taps on the target, allowing you to be able to hit a target multiple times, however still conserving ammo, and then putting a distance between that. Now we're going to move on to cyclic. Cyclic is that you're going to be pressing your F to switch towards your automatic firing mode, and then you're going to hold on to that trigger, and you're going to try to shoot out about 3 to 5 round burst. And then you're gonna release, and then you wait for about 2 seconds, and then you're gonna re-engage. And you're gonna shoot out. Still again, 3 to 5 round burst. Let go. 2 seconds. Re-engage. Let go. 2 seconds. Re-engage. And if we're doing this based off the distance of the threat would be at least danger close for 100 meters or less. That's when you'd be doing that cyclic. Sometimes maybe 200 meters or less. And then we have our firing mode for the MT-49 Bravo, which is the burst fire as well. Alright, any questions with the rates of fire?
Yes, sir.
Sergeant.
Awesome. Alright, we're going to do a brief demonstration of how it would sound like and be like whenever you're doing this. Alright, earplugs are in. Archives are on.
Range is hot.
Alright. So that was sustained and effective, and I'm not trying to hit a specific target, I'm just shooting out so you can hear it. Alright, moving on to rapid. Now that was rapid firing, and we'll go ahead and towards cyclic. So I'm going to press my Foxtrot key, switch me straight towards my automatic firing mode, and then I'm going to hold onto that mouse, that trigger button, until I know I release at least a 3 to 5 round burst. Reloading. Reloading. Alright, now some key features about this whenever you're doing this. You gotta make sure that you are shouting out reloading. This lets everyone know that we have one gun less, or one gun down, towards engaging targets in front of us. So that lets everyone else know that you need to pick up their firing rate. So if they're in sustain, they'll be switching towards rapid while you get your gun reloaded. Now if you hear a machine gun go down, then it automatically means that you need to switch towards rapid if you're in sustain, or if you switch towards cyclic as well. Because that means that's one less gun down than what is actually needed to disperse lead across that range. Alright, now remember, keep this in mind. You always need to engage the greatest threat first. So if you have infantry 100 meters closer to you, don't try to engage a target that's about 200 to 300 rounds away that's sniping at you. I'm sorry, actually no, scratch that. That is greatest threat. Try to engage infantry that's closer to you, then try to engage an infantry squad that's about 300 meters away from you. Also, if you see a Euro coming in that's 300 meters away and you have an infantry squad that's walking 300 meters away, you're going to engage that infantry Euro because it's going to carry more men inside of it. And along with that, you never know what may be inside that Euro. It could be maybe MG gun emplacement that they were somehow able to rig in there. It might be some infantry full of grenadiers or RPG gunners. You never know. So engage the Euro first. You don't want them to actually believe that they could get reinforcements in. So always remember this: engage the greatest threat first whenever you're engaging any infantrymen or contacts. Special McCoy.
Thank you, Sergeant. Something to note about ammo conservation. Remember that you're only one person of 2 fire teams in a squad. The squad is 10 people, so even at a sustained effective firing rate of 1 shot, every shot fired at a target is a whole wall of lead going out there. So don't get tunnel vision and waste your ammo, when you got 9 other guys engaging at the same time.
Thanks, Specialist.
Thanks, sir.
Alright. With that said, go ahead and reload your rifle. Put a fresh magazine in it. Put it on safety. So reload, put it on safety, Make sure everyone you have your earplugs in. Yeah, I see that everyone doesn't have the M150 RCO, which is unfortunate because I really wanted to show y'all a neat trick with that actual optic. Alright, so with the M150 RCO, you're actually able to range out the target its distance. So you're able to figure out its distance without taking out your vectors. Would you want to actually check out your vectors while you're being engaged by contacts?
No, sir.
Never.
No, because you're making yourself combat ineffective against targets that are engaging you. So you want to be able to get that effective range on a target without having to take out your vectors, but still be able to engage the target as well at the same time. So with the M150 RCO, this optic allows you to be able to get the range of a target without taking out your vectors, and I'm gonna tell you how. So basically, the horizontal lines gives you out the range, right? So they say it has a 4 next to it, letting you know it's 400 meters or 500 meters. So it basically tells you that this line symbolizes this amount of range, correct? You guys track what I'm saying?
Yes, Sergeant.
Is that yes or no?
Yes,
Negative?
Sergeant.
Affirmative? Okay. So, since each of those lines says that this is 400 meters, 500 meters, they're also, the line gets smaller as it goes down, further down. So you know how a target, it looks like an ant further away? Yes?
Affirmative, sir.
So a target looks like an ant further away, so it's smaller. So, these lines are actually measured out to the width of an average soldier. An average male soldier that's in any combat element or whatever. So basically, if you rest these lines on the shoulders, if it's too big, then you know the infantryman is probably a little more further than that. So you just raise up your optic a little bit higher and try the other lines. So if I rest it at 400 meters and it's too big, I'm gonna raise it up and I rest it at 600 meters and it fits right in there. So if the width of those lines fits the width of the shoulders, then that means that the target's 600 meters out. You guys tracking on with what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So when you get time, go on a server somewhere so you can be able to use your M4 and use that optic. Alright, let's go ahead and move on. Alright, go ahead and your rifles are already loaded. Go ahead and point your rifles down range. And go ahead and engage your targets with sustained firing when ready. Go ahead.
Range is hot.
Make sure you have the safety as well. I can hear private vets firing. Can anyone hear it? My earplugs are too deep into my ear. He's firing. I don't hear it. Alright, we'll never know. Alright, so continue doing sustained firing. You remember that's 1 round, 2 seconds. Or I should say 1 to 2 seconds.
I don't see the fire.
Yeah, the target's going down.
I hear
Alright, let's go ahead and switch to cyclic. Cyclic firing mode. Sorry, cyclic rate of fire.
That's rapid.
That's rapid. You're gonna press your Foxtrot key, switch to auto. There you go. You launch. 5-round burst.
So you want to be aiming at
Nice shot, Private Vince. Alright, sustain.
Now, the 2 furthest targets is sustained fire.
I didn't say rapid, it's a sustain.
Reloading.
Rapid sustained firing is 1 round every 2 seconds. 2 to 3 seconds.
Reloading.
Alright, rapid. That's your double taps every time.
Rapid, you should be aiming at the 2 targets in the middle.
Yeah, got it.
Rapid. sustained. Effective firing. Alright, ceasefire. Alright, you guys feel comfortable with a sustained, rapid, and cyclic?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, awesome. Go ahead and recover back on me.
Condition
Straight towards
for your
the
weapons, gentlemen.
AT range. And go ahead and condition for your rifle. Sling it on your back. Alright, get online on the sandbags right in front of me. Special McCoy.
Nothing's there. Alright, this is the AT4 range course. So, basically, this is a two-man job here. One person's going to be spotting and ranging the target with their vectors. The other person will be operating the AT4. Do we have a target, Sergeant, that we're going to use? We're just going to use that Jeep out there. Alright, so everyone knows how to bring out their vectors, correct? The Bravo key. Alright, everyone take out your vectors. Alright. So if we look down range, bearing 134. Make sure I'm yelling. Alright. Y'all see that BTR out there bearing 134?
Affirm.
Roger.
Alright.
BS as well.
Roger. Okay, so to use the vectors here, you're going to use the tab key to bring up the bearing. Go ahead and do that now. And then you're going to hold down the Romeo key or R key till a little red circle pops up, and then release, and that'll give you the range. Everyone tracking so far?
Tracking specialist.
Roger.
Alright, so also a trick here, if you hit the tab and Romeo key simultaneously and hold them both down until the red circle pops up, and release them both, it'll give you the bearing and range simultaneously, which is very helpful, because then you won't need to go back, hit a bunch of keys. Just gives you all the information you need all at the same time. So everyone give that a shot. Let me know it's working for you.
Working specialist.
Working.
Alright, there's some other tricks to vectors you'll learn later on, but for now, this will do. Alright, who wants to take the first shot?
I can do it.
Alright. Alright, Private Yanovich. Here's the protocol for firing the AT4. So the call for prepping AT will be heard over the radio net. Someone will say, prep AT. At that point, you're going to push your 3 key, bring out your AT. So Private Yanovich, prep AT. Alright, you can hit the Romeo key once it's out to bring up the sights. Alright, whoever's ranging at Private Wilson, we'll use you. You're going to call out the bearing and range of the BTR, so it'll sound something like this in this scenario. So we have a BTR bearing 140, range 278. Alright, so that's the proper call out. And then Private Yanovich, you can use the page up and down key to adjust the 0 for your sights. So if you see in the top right, you'll see a number next to the meter symbol, and that'll tell you where the 0 marker is on your sight. You see tracking that?
Affirm.
So if this BTR is 278 meters, you want to set it to 250 for your range. You got it?
Affirm. Set.
Okay. So the next protocol, you're going to call AT prepped and then backblast clear.
AT prep. Backblast clear.
Okay. Keep in mind when you say backblast clear, that is on the person that is sighting the target to check behind the rocket operator to make sure no one is standing in the backblast. All right, Private Wilson, go ahead and check his backblast.
Backblast is clear.
Okay. If the backblast is not clear, obviously he'll say backblast not clear, and he'll call clear backblast a second time. If they still do not move, then you're clear to fire. When you say backblast clear, you're not asking a question. You're giving an order to clear your fucking backblast. Otherwise, you're in deep shit. Because you got to take that armor out, regardless of if you knock some guy out that's behind you. All right. Once you have that set, confirm your backblast is clear, you're going to call rocket, 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 and fire your weapon.
Rocket, rocket, rocket.
That was the wrong target, but
God
that
damn
was the
it.
correct protocol.
And you killed McCoy. Or Wilson.
Yeah. All right, well, he was in the backblast, so that's okay. All right, and once you fire your weapon,
Make sure you can point it out by pressing your shift tilde.
yeah, if you're uncertain, always ask to clarify.
And also, if your spotter is not maybe about 5 or 10 meters away from you, the bearing's off. So make sure that the spotter is on the side, and make sure that you have the miles trying to figure out what the bearing is at. So assist you on figuring out where that target is at.
All right, and good job. And after you fired your AP4, make sure you drop it on the ground. It's done, can no longer be used. Always make sure you drop it because you don't want to get caught carrying that thing around. Someone will think you have AT, and you don't. That could cause the whole task force to have to shift direction. So your one mistake could have affected the combat effectiveness of 39 other people. All right, go ahead. So Private Yanovich, go ahead and pick a target. Range it for Private Bets here. Go ahead and move a little closer to him so the bearings match up.
Oh, he was moving.
Specialist McCoy, I'll find a target for him and then I'll give him the range.
Yeah, give him the bearing. You want to call out the type of target. If you know the ID, that's a day 3 thing, so it's not a huge deal. But the range and bearing are the most important parts, so he can set his AT range.
3Ds.
So the 3Ds: distance, direction, and description.
Copy. Bearing 139 at BTR, range 277.
And Bets, you want to read that back to him to confirm the information is correct.
Bearing 139er, range 279 meters.
Wrong, 277 range. That's the same thing.
Range 277 meters.
Correct.
Excellent use of prowords, gentlemen. Keep going.
Backblast area clear.
That's clear.
Rocket, rocket, rocket.
That's right. Now drop it and make sure you bring your rifle up. Assuming you get a hit, you're going to have dismounts, so you have to engage from that target. So as soon as you fire it, drop it, bring your rifle up, and prepare for engaging infantry.
And make sure y'all are on yelling. I heard you guys will hear as well, but make sure you're on yelling because you want to make sure you let people know behind you to hear you. So don't be on whispering because basically that's just ineffective. You might also have to say clear backblast if you're on whispering. Make sure you're on yelling when you're giving out that order.
Question, Sergeant. How do you switch it to yelling?
That's the point.
You're going to hit the left control and tab key at the same time. You'll see a little speaker pop up in your bottom right with the 3 volumes, whisper, and then I guess talking and yelling. You can cycle through that. Usually when you start a formation, you'll go to whisper, and once you move out of the wire, make sure you're not talking or yelling in a combat scenario.
Roger.
All right. Private Bets, you want to range me target?
Roger, Specialist.
Sam, Private Ajanovic, question?
Yes, Specialist McCoy. What is the area clear of a backlast?
That is a good question. It is a short cone directly behind the weapon. I think it's approximately 3 to 5 meters behind. You want to make sure it's clear.
What's it called?
In a 45-degree angle. The effective backblast.
Oh.
Can you show it by walking around the... Yeah, Private Wilson?
Yeah, sure. Private Wilson, go ahead and bring up your AT.
Well, give him a target to shoot as well so we can knock all that together.
So I'm just so this is backblast not clear. This is definite. You're going to get fucking KIA'd almost instantly. Right here, you'll still probably take a little splash damage, but, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's still not clear. I'd say about here is as a safe distance directly behind.
Copy that.
Roger.
All right, so Private Bets, go ahead and range Private Wilson target here. Private Wilson, you copied all the protocol, correct? If not, it's
Can
fine.
you go over it again?
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so Private Bet's going to find you a target. He's going to call out the range and bearing and description. You're going to read that back to him.
Ajanovic.
All right.
Enemy.
Yes, Sergeant.
Enemy Humvee.
Make sure I'm whispering.
Bearing
Did you already practice on shooting the rocket?
297 meters.
I had it on the...
All right, Wilson, you have your
AT4.
sights are out.
Hey, Gillen.
You have to hit Romeo one more time. There you go.
Private Gillen.
And then use the page up and
Probably
down
not
key
there.
to set the 0 on your sights to the closest 50-meter increment to the range.
You want to practice him on launch that rocket so he can get an effective shot, and then bring him back at like 9:35.
All right, once you have that,
9:36.
Private Wilson, you're going to call backblast clear.
Yep. So spot for him, and then you can have him spot like once, but have him try to shoot a rocket about 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Can you go over
So
the
you can do it right here,
range again?
Just make sure y'all whispering so then people can hear you.
Go ahead and say again the range, Private Bets.
And
Copy. Range
Arsenal's right there.
297.
All right, so you want to hit page up and down, Wilson, until you see on the top right of your screen there, you'll see 50-meter increments changing for the range. Set that to as close as you can get to the actual range. So in this case, I think 300 meters, probably the maximum effective range you want to use this weapon system.
Are you ready?
Backblast clear.
Backblast not clear.
Yes, Private Gillen.
Backblast
Okay.
clear.
Backblast clear.
BMP.
Now you call rocket, 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 and then fire your weapon.
Rocket, rocket,
144. Just 144.
Shot
Sorry,
high.
Private
All
Gillen,
right,
can you set
now
it on
you
normal? I can't
drop
hear you.
that AT4 on the ground, bring up your rifle,
Private Gillen, can you
and
set it
prepare
on
to engage
uh,
infantry targets.
normal mode?
make sure you give out the VDA whether or not it's catastrophic or not. Alright, you guys go ahead.
Can you
and
set it
grab
on private
a
mode?
rocket
I can't
practice
hear you.
about 3 minutes.
Sorry.
All right, just a
Yeah.
note on the AT4, since it is an anti-tank weapon, you don't want to be using it on something as light as a Humvee. Generally, BTR and above is the
All right, so
smallest thing
any
you'll ever engage with
BMP
the AT4 weapon system.
144.
Otherwise, just a waste.
Bearing 144. Ranges
All right,
218.
go ahead and reload and get some practice shots.
Bearing
in.
144, range
We're reconvene at like
308,
9:30 or
correct?
something like that.
Roger that.
Native 318.
318. Is that one? Is that it?
What's
Wanna go
one?
again, Wilson?
Yeah,
That one right there?
yeah, that being way out there.
That one, copy that. 318.
Enemy BTR bearing 1, 2,
Clear my back,
7, 2, 5,
Bypass
7
clear.
meters away.
Rocket, rocket, rocket.
Good hit.
Back glass is clear.
My ears. I have my ear.
It looked like it hit, but
Yeah.
yeah, it hit because it's smoking.
Was it a
So
good hit?
immediate would be good hit, catastrophic.
Good hit, catastrophic.
I think you hit it, but it's
So
not.
I just took a little
Now, if
back.
they hit it, but it wasn't catastrophic, you would say good hit, not effective, or not catastrophic.
Sergeant, so the smoke means it was catastrophic?
Yes,
Roger.
catastrophic.
Oh,
If
I
it's not
see it now.
smoking, then you just say good hit.
So this for example, here, I did take a little back glass damage.
That was a good hit, but not effective.
That effective. Copy that.
Is there another one?
Yes.
Need some vectors. So
Oh, vectors? Here, grab mine.
Private
You hit the
gun.
BMP, but
Yeah, have him hit that BMP
Oh,
again to
what's
see if he can get it.
Sergeant Smith, I got a question.
Yeah.
When he's calling, was probably calling the bearing and the range.
Yes.
How can I see the bearings when I have my AT?
So, press H right now. Press your hotel key.
Say again? H.
Yes. So bring up your action value.
Oh yeah, put it on the Y.
There. Do you see the on there?
I got it.
If it's bearing shape, you see it?
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright. And you still have the same H on your AC, right? Suppressor program of that, correct? Alright, so yeah, all you need to figure out is that bearing to bring that back and figure out where it's at.
Copy that.
And then do what you did before, point out the action. That one right here.
Yeah.
Just do what you did, that was good.
Copy that. Rocket truck.
okay. BMP.
You set it on yellow. That's all more. That's not hear anything.
Alright, grab another rocket.
Alright. Okay, BMP bearing 1.4. Ranges.
This way has to go.
Bearing. Bearing 144. What's the range?
317.
317.
Gonna try and hit that BMP, Wilson?
317. Put it on
The
300.
one that's driving?
Clear my back blast.
I could.
Bypass clear.
Range.
Rocket, rocket, rocket.
Range 177. It's stopped.
I don't understand.
Bearing 148.
Okay,
Oh.
go. Did it.
I have a question.
They're gonna have dismount. So you all fucking ready.
your weapon is resistant.
Copy that. Negative visual.
No, not one.
Holy crap. Taking fire. visual.
I have no visual on the
Alright, ceasefire.
Ceasefire.
Oh, it was unsafe.
Alright, put your rifles back on safety again on your back.
Condition 4.
Condition 4.
So remove the magazine from weapon.
Jimmy, go ahead and follow me.
Copy.
Who thinks you're good with the 84?
Thank you, Sergeant.
They're good with the 84.
I'm playing the Liberation, and I was on your team, as I said, on the killings. So
Oh, that was a liberation. That was squad training.
oh yeah, I was there last night, and I'm thinking going there tonight as well, just to
Okay.
out. But I was
I
at your
need more
squad
practice, Sergeant.
as a fill-in.
Let's record. What happened to your truck?
I left it with Sergeant Margiotta. I don't know what happened.
What? What?
What'd you do to my my Humvee there, Sergeant?
Hold on. I'll get us some swank. Oh, Private
sorry.
Gillen is all by himself.
Oh,
Wait,
I'll
look
get him.
like McCoy.
Let's see. Let's get us something nice.
What is that noise?
Relax, Sergeant.
Seems like it's
This
the Humvee.
vehicle's actually on fire. You want one to be careful of it.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Nice. Alright, don't mount the gunner, but get in the rear.
Copy.
Where's
Can you even
McCoy
get in the
at?
rear?
Need my driver.
Alright, well, you're not gonna be able to get in the rear with this piece of shit. Alright, everybody stand clear. I'll get us something else.
Oh, that's good. Take it cooler.
Alright.
Mr. McCoy.
Yes, sir. Roger that. You're giving directions.
Yeah, you see my driving skills. I'm just want to drive. Alright, take us to the exit. Once Sergeant Margetti's in. Oh, that's not him. Private Gillen's in.
It's a right turn from here, correct?
Oh yeah, right turn through the gate, left.
Yeah, one person. That's okay.
All in.
He's straight ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, at the gates.
Oops, went away. Make it left.
Yep. Alright, go ahead and dismount.
Alright, fall out to the top of the tower, left tower.
Go ahead and take up the center, northwestern center.
This is a tower after all.
Moving all the way up.
Yep, all the way
all
up.
the way up.
Copy.
Take the right. Yep.
Formations.
Mind if I do this?
Yeah.
Sergeant.
Go ahead.
Alrighty. Let me get something to put down next to. Y'all can all hear me well?
Roger, Sergeant.
1 second. Let me get something. Use.
Oh, easy, man.
There we go. Alrighty. Alright, so if you look over here what this blue container is, this is what we call a fire team file. As you can see, you have your fire team leader in the front, followed by the AR, your grenadier, and your rifleman. Direction of travel. Your fire team file is a formation not widely used here. The only benefits of it is fast travel because you're in line or you're in a file with each other, so you have good visual with the person in front of you and so forth with the person behind you. So you get good visual contact, so you can move fast in dense terrain. But being in this formation, if you come into any contact, front or rear, you have poor security to the front and rear with this formation. So if you do come into contact, you only have one person that can react to that contact. Where if it was in the front, your fire team leader would react. If it is in the rear, your rifleman would react to it. Eventually everybody would react to it, but it takes way too much time for the other 3 members of this fire team to react to that contact when we're in this formation. Now, if we happen to get contact on the right, left flanks, security there is pretty good because all the guys would have to do is turn left or turn right, and they have now set up a base of fire. So, whereas if they were getting contact from the front, the last 3 guys would have to peel off and push up and get on line to start a base of fire. Because if they started to return fire in that formation, they would quite possibly shoot each other in the back of the head, or blue on blue fire from everybody just scrambling for cover. So this is a fire team file. Next formation over here is a fire team wedge. This is a formation we mostly use here. Fire team wedge. This man here is your fire team leader, followed over here with the grenadier, by himself. This here is your auto rifleman. And here is your rifleman. This is considered a, well, this is called a heavy right. So when your fire team lead calls heavy right, he wants the AR and the rifleman on the right-hand side. And the reason for this is he expects contact from the right side compared to over here on the left side. So he heavies up and he shores up the right side of the formation. Now, you have pretty decent security all the way around, especially to the front, because your men have already dispersed. So if there were contact to the front, all they would have to do is push up on line with each other and return fire. Same thing goes for any kind of rear contact. Now, the flank is a little bit more protected, obviously, on one side than the other, but it's still a better all-around formation to use compared to the fire team file. I don't know if you can see it, but if you notice, the rifleman with the AT is looking at the rear. That's his sector. So this is not only showing your formations, it's showing you sectors that these guys are covering for a halt. We'll get more into that on day 2 and day 3. Yes, Bets.
Sergeant, is that the usual whenever your team lead will call you into a wedge? I guess this is kind of SOP for your team. But when they call you into a wedge, will he say heavy right for that? And usual, if he just says team wedge, would you put your auto rifleman on the left side and put your grenadier in the place of the auto rifleman?
And when he calls wedge, he should call, he wants a heavy left or a heavy right wedge.
Roger.
And it's cut and dry like that. So if you called, since this is a heavy right, if you called a heavy left, your grenadier would move from this side to this side, and your rifleman and auto rifleman will now take up the left side.
Okay, so you always have the auto rifleman and the rifleman together, Sergeant?
Correct.
Okay. That's what I was checking on, Sergeant.
Yep,
Thank you.
Yep, not a problem. Especially McCoy.
Thanks, Sergeant. Just to actually kind of clarify on that, some things I've heard from the captain and first sergeant. So there's a heavy side or a strong side, which are slightly different configurations. The strong side would mean the AR is by himself on one side, and the rifleman and grenadier are on the other. Heavy is the AR is on one side with the rifleman, and grenadiers by himself on the other side.
Roger, Specialist. That was what we did, because I was a auto rifleman in my team, and I was usually by myself unless they called heavy, so I was just trying to clarify. Thank you, Sergeant, or Specialist.
Yep, thank you. Alright, next formation is going to be here. This is a squad file. Not much different than a fire team file, except that you now have 10 men instead of 4. This is just for fast movement. We rarely ever use this formation. Like I said, fast movement and dense foliage. If you're in a fucking jungle and you needed to keep tabs on everybody, this would probably be the formation to use. It's pretty much the same as the fire team file in pros and cons. So I'm not going to go over this too much.
Yeah, if I may say.
It's just, yep, go.
So I don't think I've ever heard this formation called for in an actual situation, a combat situation. But if you're displacing from enemy IDF in like a forested area, you need to get the fuck out quick. You'll usually just end up in this formation just because you're trying to move fast, and then you can reconsolidate once you're in a safe area.
It's mainly a non-combat movement.
Yeah,
Correct.
confirmed. Thanks, Sergeant.
Yep. Like so we'll go over that on day 2, movement versus maneuver. This would be a movement formation. Whereas your fire team and squad column can be a movement formation. Speaking of squad column, there you go. You have a fire team in the front, followed by the Mike and squad leader. And in the rear, you have the second fire team, which makes up a squad. Now, it's all Met TC. You can have this fire team, it's in the heavy right formation, followed by the second fire team, which is in a diamond. You can have the second fire team in a wedge, fire team wedge, and you can have him heavy right or heavy left. It really doesn't matter. You can have both your ARs on one side if you feel like the contact is most likely on the right side. So you don't have to always have it opposite. We don't use diamonds too often. Like Sergeant Smith points out, diamonds really used for if you have like a high value individual HVI that you're trying to escort back. So the HVI would be where this container is, and he would be encircled with a diamond as they lead him back to safety. This is the formation we use quite often. Now, with this formation, we have two options. We have an option of traveling and then traveling Overwatch. Now, traveling Overwatch would mean, traveling would mean that the likeliness of contact is low. So you kind of run with your guys tighter knit than if you were expecting contact. So if you expect contact, you would go to travel and Overwatch, which would mean you would pull your trail and fire team back along with the squad leader and Mike, and allow the fire team up front to engage the contact first or be engaged first. So when that happens, this fire team, since they've been engaged, they would come up on lawn, be a base of fire, and they would allow this fire team back here with the squad and Mike to either go right, go left, or go right to flank the enemy. So being an Overwatch, traveling Overwatch, lets you not commit your entire force when they do get in contact. So you got traveling, which is your fire team up front, and then your guys closer. It's easier for the squad leader to control his squad in traveling. And then you have traveling overwatch, which is a much more spaced between the first fire team and the trailing fire team with the mic and squad leader. Now, this is a platoon column, I believe. Am I saying it right?
That's a squad wedge, Sergeant.
Wait, which one? The one you're pointing at right now?
Oh yeah.
Squad line.
Yeah, this is a squad.
Squad line.
This is a squad line. These guys are way too fucking tightly packed.
Yep.
All right, so this is a squad line. You have fire team A or B, don't matter. Another fire team here. You have your fire team leader, AR, rifleman, grenadier. Pretty much mirrors it on this side. Because you want to have your flanks protected. That's why you put more firepower out here. And then you have your squad leader and Mike in the middle. This formation is great if you know the contact or you are raiding a village and you know your forces, enemy forces are dead ahead. Because you're placing all your firepower looking forward. You have very light security on the flanks and very, very light security on the rear. So, like I said, this formation is good if you have a known town or outposts or whatever that you're going to assault. Alright. Look at this. Alright, so this is a stagger column here. Starting from here all the way to back here is a stagger column. Let me get rid of this. One second. Move this a little bit closer. Alright, so this is a stagger column. Can be used in urban settings. If you happen to be going down a road would be in the middle. Or if you're going down an alleyway or a ASR, MSR, and you have houses here on this side and here on this side, it's a good formation to use. You can, you got houses on both sides. So if the house is on this side, the guys here will be watching the houses, especially the second floor and balconies on this side of the street. And it's vice versa. The houses over here, you know, these guys on that side, opposite side, will be covering those houses. You could also do traveling and traveling overwatch in this formation. As of right now, it's in traveling. If we take these guys and push them up, it would be in traveling overwatch. It's basically the same thing. You want that one fire team to engage and put a base of fire down first, and allow the second fire team, along with the Mike and squad leader, to react to said contact and figure out if they want to flank this way or that way, or even if there isn't a good flank, he has the option to pull back, break contact, or if you don't have that option, he can just put all his forces up on line and just try to out-firepower the enemy and push through them. So, there's a lot to think about when you react to contact, especially when you are a squad leader. This is not really a formation for when you're in contact, I guess per se. Because you're standing on the side of the road, you're marching in formation. You know, you're staggered. So once you become contact, this changes from movement to maneuver, and then everything changes from this formation. You try to maneuver on an enemy and wipe them out. All right. Any questions so far?
Yes, Sergeant.
Sergeant.
All right. Let me bring this over here. So this is not much different. Of course, I just got rid of the guys, of course. Well, just keep in mind where the markers are, that's where guys are. So this is a staggered column with a Vic involved. So you're escorting a Vic down to ASR, MSR, and you are in a staggered column. So being in a staggered column, you have the two options. You can either be in traveling or traveling overwatch. Right now it's in traveling. You have a total of 2 fire teams and your squad and squad mic in this formation. This being here would be your first fire team. Either this guy or this guy will be the squad leader, and the other one will be the mic, followed by the auto rifleman, and well, that doesn't make sense.
Well, yeah, that's right, Sergeant. It's the team lead and AR of the Vic team.
Correct. Right. Yeah, this is your squad leader. Fucking my own self up. So you squad leader and squad mic, and then you will have the team lead and AR of the second fire team. Now, one fire team will be in charge of the Vic. That is why there's 2 fire team members missing. You have one that's driving, and the other one is gunning. Your driver will be the rifleman, and your Vic gunner will be the grenadier. So those 2 in there. The other 2 members of the fire team are bringing up the rear security. And when you're walking a Vic in, you want to be in traveling overwatch. You want this front fire team to be out enough so they become in contact. You know, if they're coming around a bend and fucking some asshole with RPG pops out to take a shot on the Vic, they can engage it and take him out before he can take out the Vic. Now, the Vic is a great asset for us to have. It's a force multiplier. Our Vics that we use have M2 Brownings, 50 cals, and 40 Mike GMG guns on them. So it's a lot of firepower to put out, and it also carries extra ammunition, extra bandages, extra AT. So not only is it a force multiplier, it is a mobile resupply, and that's something we rarely get during missions, is a resupply. So that's pretty it in a nutshell. Any questions?
No, Sergeant.
Sergeant.
All right. They're all yours, Sergeant Smith.
Oh, Roger.
Comment, McCoy?
Thanks,
Specialist.
Sergeant Smith, is this we at the end of the class here?
Say again?
Are we at the end of the class here, Sergeant?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just have a couple things. I want to see if these guys are taking notes.
Go ahead.
All right, privates, who can tell me what the 5 basic soldiering skills are?
I can, specialist.
Go for it, vets.
Shoot, move, communicate, survive, sustain.
Do it. Good job. All right, I know I heard the sergeants mention this a couple times, so make sure you know it. Use the term MET-TC or MET-TC dependent. Who can tell me what that stands for? Anybody?
Movement, equipment, terrain, time.
You got one. But all right, so MET-TC, it's kind of the variable that defines how you're going to execute your movement maneuver. So MET-TC is METT-TC, stands for mission, enemy, terrain, troops available, and time and civilian consideration.
Could you repeat that again?
All right, I was unaware, Sergeant, that was a day 2 thing. But anyway, you'll be ahead of the game. So MET-TC is mission, enemy, terrain, troops available, and then the dash, time, and civilian considerations. Make sure you got that written down, and you will go far. That's all I have, Sergeants. Thank you.
Comment up.
Oh. Alright, gentlemen, no, it's okay. This completely concludes day 1 of Class Bravo. Like I said, like Sergeant Martin just said, Class Bravo will also be consisting of 4 days, and as Class Bravo falls into Tuesdays and Thursdays, day 1 and day 2 would be today, and then day 2 would be on Thursday, and then you can complete day 3 on next Tuesday and day 4 next Thursday. As of now, Sergeant Margiotta and I is your direct chain of command. Do not message your recruit trainer anymore. Don't message the first sergeant. We're your direct chain of command. If they see a message from you, they will most likely ignore it and ask you, did you message your COC? In addition to that, with you guys being PV1s, you are allowed to fill in for any training. So any squad training, any platoon training, however you cannot fill in for any official settings such as a FTX or an operation until you actually get billeted into the unit, or at least graduated from OSUT. With that said, good job guys for going through day 1, vigilantly listening and taking notes and answering questions quickly enough. Was there any more comments, any more questions not left over, I'm assuming?
No.
Alright, awesome. You guys are dismissed.
Good job, guys.
See you on Thursday. And please be early, 30 minutes early.
Copy.
Affirmative, Sergeant.